No! No! It's a mess!
Hey, what's all of this, huh? Go, shoo, arrivederci, supi eggplant, vaffanculo, cazzi! Ciao, culo, che cazzo dici?
Giovanni from Parma? How's it going, Parmesan? Can you help me fix my eggplant parmesan?
You're thinking about it all wrong, cazzo! It's not a soup, it's a cake! Layers, culo! Layers! Layers, culo! Layers!
Follow me to the kitchen.
That will cook.
For the red sauce, we're going to start with some olive oil in a pot or a pan on a medium heat, followed by several anchovy fillets. As a side note, you can use up to twice as many fillets as I'm using here. I ended up making the sauce again a little bit later, and I used way more anchovies, and I think it actually turned out a little better. You want to start the oil in a cold pan so that the anchovies sort of disintegrate as the oil slowly gets hot. Then add in a chopped shallot or two to the mix, season it, and move it around. Then grate in about 4 to 7 cloves of garlic and thoroughly mix to incorporate so that the garlic doesn't have time to burn by sitting in one location for too long. Then empty out a few internationally recognized tomato cans. Break down the tomatoes with your hands. Now remember, as my grandma always used to tell me, it's okay to spill your seed so long as it doesn't get into your eyes. Once your pot mix has darkened slightly, add a generous amount of tomato paste and mix it all up in there to cook out the raw flavor and to get some more Maillarding material to amp up the sauce. Then dump in your crushed tomatoes, which will deglaze the pan, and add in a peeled carrot and some thoroughly washed basil. Add some Parmesan rinds and a few hearty glugs of acceptable red wine to further deepen the sauce. Put the lid on, bring it up to a boil, and then back it down to a simmer so it can just chill like that for a few hours. After a few hours, you'll notice that your sauce will have reduced, the color will have intensified, and the parm rinds will have gelatinized. So fish those mucousy mothers out of there, as well as the spent basil and carrot. Then add in a generous amount of butter and blend it until it's fully incorporated. This gives the sauce a smoother, silkier texture. Next, make 2 pestos, 1 basil, 1 arugula. Other than that, it's the same old ingredients. So add in your leaf of choice, some pine nuts, Parmesan or Pecorino or both, black pepper, garlic, and olive oil. Then blend until smooth, adjusting your ratios as necessary. And now for the eggplant. I don't think this is appropriate for YouTube. I'd better censor it. To prep the eggplants, we're gonna skin them, we're gonna top and tail them, and slice them up real thin, 1 centimeter maximum, and preferably as thin as you can go. The thinner the better. Lay them down somewhere and really give them a good salting. After about 20-30 minutes, the salt will have absorbed, thereby seasoning the eggplant slices, making them taste good. And then you can soak up the liquid that's been drawn out with a paper towel to reduce the soup spectrum. Next, you make a ricotta. Take 6 cups of 3.25% milk and 2 cups of 35% cream and bring it up to around 205 degrees Fahrenheit, stirring occasionally to make sure the bottom doesn't burn and checking with a thermometer periodically. While that's coming up, measure out 5 tablespoons of white vinegar and 3 teaspoons of salt. When it comes up to temp, quickly toss in your chemical agents and stir to dissolve. Let sit for 20 minutes and then pour into a cheesecloth-lined sieve over a bowl to separate the ricotta
from the whey.
As a side note, you can add some whey into the red sauce to brighten up the flavor. Now to assemble. Layer some eggplant, and then spread out a layer of ricotta, followed by a layer of one of your pestos, followed by a layer of panko breadcrumbs, followed by a layer of red sauce. And do it all over again, as many times as possible, until it would be irresponsible to go any further. Place on a sheet pan to mitigate any overbubblage that could occur, and bake at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, depending on the strength of your oven and just how caramelized you want the top sauce layer to be. Then it's as simple as getting a perfect slice on your first try, easier done than said, and then tastefully decorate with some old milk shavings and leaves. All right, everybody, let's try this. You know, the layers of flavors in this thing are as layered and complex as the history of the people that came up with this dish in the first place. But for the sake of simplicity, I'll just say it's the right kind of salty. Well, that's it. You know, if I could only just capture the essence of that flavor and can it and sell it to the masses, I'd be a millionaire. But I think, as anyone who grew up eating Chef Boyardee will tell you, quality simply doesn't scale. And as always, do what you love because nobody cares and it doesn't matter.